Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, the sheer volume of AI-generated content online now, it feels like the digital landscape is being fundamentally rewritten right before our eyes. So our mission today really is to cut through some of the noise, look at the actual data, and understand what this, seismic shift actually means for you.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing just how fast AI has woven itself into the fabric of the web. It's really not some future thing anymore, is it?
Hmm.
It's here right now, impacting everything from like search results you see to the images scrolling past on your social media. And the scale is just, well, unprecedented.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting looking at the numbers. Nearly three-quarters, think about that, three-quarters of all new web pages involve AI in their creation somehow. And get this, almost 20% of top Google search results identified as AI generated. That's up from what, just over 2% back in early 2019? That's a huge jump.
A meteoric rise, absolutely.
And it's not just text, right? I saw an estimate that like 71% of images shared on social media are AI generated.
Yeah, the figures floating around 71%. It's wild. But, the crucial nuance here is how it's being used. It's not mostly full automation.
Okay, so what does that look like then? Humans are still in the loop.
Exactly. The dominant mode seems to be a blend.
Yeah.
That data point, 71.7% of new web pages, that's human and AI input combined. And businesses are clearly driving this.
Makes sense, right?
Efficiency. Something like 87% of marketers are using AI for content now. They report saving, on average, about 3 hours per piece of content.
3 hours per piece. Wow. Okay. So efficiency, yes. But what about quality? Does easier generation just mean more, junk online?
That's the big concern. The ease of generation has definitely led to what people are calling AI slop. Basically, low effort, low quality content just flooding the zone. And platforms like Google, they're actively trying to penalize this. You saw their March 2024 algorithm update. That was partly aimed at this
All
stuff.
right. Trying to weed it out.
Yeah, but here's a worrying statistic. Only about 27% of organizations using this generative AI stuff report that their employees actually review all the content before it goes out externally.
Only 27%. Seriously.
Seriously, it highlights a huge need for, well, human oversight, quality control. Otherwise, the information ecosystem could really degrade quickly.
Okay, so the content creation side is being totally reshaped. Let's zoom out a bit. What about the economy? What are the kind of ripple effects there? We're talking big numbers.
Oh, astronomical numbers, mind-boggling, really. The global AI market, valued around $279 billion this year, 2024, but the projection, it's expected to soar to $4.8 trillion. Trillion with a T by 2033.
4.8 trillion, that's hard to even picture.
It is. And to put that into a bigger context, this whole expansion
Yeah.
is forecast to contribute something like $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030.
15.7 trillion added to the global economy.
Yeah, that's like adding the entire current GDP of, say, China and India combined. It's massive. And it's being accelerated by things like the cost plummeting, like the inference costs for models like GPT 3.5, basically. The cost for them to think and generate stuff dropped over 280-fold between late 2022 and late 2024. So it's getting exponentially cheaper to run these things.
Okay, that makes sense. Cheaper means more usage, means bigger economic impact. But this explosion, all this digital activity, all this computation, it must put a massive strain on the physical world, right? Like the infrastructure, power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've hit on a crucial point.
Really?
The strain is immense. Think about the sheer amount of data being created and stored in the global data sphere. It's on track to go past 200 zettabytes by 2025.
Zettabytes, I know that's a lot.
A lot. A zettabyte is a trillion gigabytes. So 200 trillion gigabytes, almost unimaginable. And all that data needs a physical home, data centers. So the data center market itself, currently valued around $242.7 billion, is projected to potentially hit $1 trillion, maybe as early as 2027, explicitly driven by AI demands.
$1 trillion market just for the buildings and hardware?
Buildings, hardware, power, cooling, yeah. And the power challenge is staggering. Global data center power consumption forecast to reach 1,050 terawatt hours by 2027.
Okay, 1,050 terawatt hours. How much is that in real terms?
That's more electricity than the entire nation of Japan consumes in a year.
It's more than Japan. Wow. That's a hidden cost we don't often think about.
Exactly. And our networks are feeling it too. Data center network bandwidth buying. It surged 330% in 2024 alone because of AI. It's pushing 5G uplink capacity to its absolute limits, probably by 2027. And it's speeding up the need for and development of 6G.
Okay, so the infrastructure demand is just booming. Power grids, networks, buildings. We often focus on, the big tech companies making the AI models, the chip makers. But with all this physical strain, who are the really resilient winners in this sort of digital gold rush?
Yeah, that's a great question. Who benefits no matter which AI model wins or which chip design takes off? Often the most resilient players, the ones with maybe less obvious risk, are the owners of that physical infrastructure, the data center REITs.
REITs, real estate investment trusts.
Exactly. Companies like Equinix, Digital Realty, names like that. They are essentially the landlords of the AI age. They provide the absolutely essential stuff: secure space, massive amounts of power, incredibly sophisticated cooling systems that all AI operations need. Doesn't matter whose AI it is.
Ah, okay, so they're like the picks and shovels play in this gold rush.
Precisely. It's a foundational play. They provide the essential tools and ground. Their business model is somewhat insulated from the really fierce competition happening at the software and chip level. Everyone needs their real estate.
Gotcha. That's a really interesting perspective. So, wrapping this up then, from the content you see scrolling past every day to these huge shifts in the global economy, and even down to the physical buildings and power grids keeping it all running, AI is just fundamentally reshaping our world in some really profound ways.
It truly is. And maybe a final thought to leave people with. As AI gets more and more pervasive, woven into everything, how will you personally make sure the content you consume, and maybe even the content you create, how will you ensure it keeps its value and authenticity, especially with this rising tide of AI-generated information all around us?